Yep. So, so let me bring up my welcome everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining for the session day 5 on use case challenge learning sprint. And so we have three speakers, and one is Saikiran Konradi, who is having an 7+ years of experience and on UI path close to 5 years, and currently working as senior software with Signity. And he's an active community member since last 3 years. Like he started delivering sessions in colleges and community events, and he's speaking a lot of events as well. And he is awarded with UiPath MVP in 2024, and he is an advanced developer and test automation engineer certified. And we also have Pradeep Chinala, who is bringing a very vast experience in terms of UiPath, yeah, artificial intelligence and document understanding categories. And he's also having 7+ years of experience, and that too in RPA. And he is awarded with UiPath MVP for the last 2 years. And also he is a hackathon finalist, and he is a challenge winner for the specialized and generative AI. So myself, Patrudu, and I have close to 10 years of experience, and close to 7 years is into UiPath implementations, and currently working with Ash Technologies as an associate technical architect. And I was awarded with UiPath MVP for 2024. And I'm solution architect, specialized AI, advanced developer, and test automation engineer certified. And so as part of this series, hope everyone is aware of this, but still I would like to reiterate or remind you again, like we are having a learning sprint for 10 days continuously on 20 use cases. And we have prizes of for the best use cases, and we have UiPath swag vouchers. And give me a moment, guys. Sorry, really sorry, guys. So yeah, so we have two prizes for the most engaging, who is participating throughout the initiative. And also like we have the LinkedIn post, like we have four more goodies. So this is all like the awards and recognition for the participants who is part of this learning sprint. And what are the participation requirements? So like we should be you should be already completed the basic course on the UiPath Academy, the foundation course. And then you need to join all the 10 sessions in order to and submit your ideas and challenges in the UiPath community forum. And submissions are after each and every session you need to submit into a dedicated thread, like where we will be creating in the forum. And sorry, I there is a mistake in the slide, like it's day 5. Yeah. So today we will be discussing about two use cases, use case 9 and use case 10. And today's use cases are more focused towards the test automation part of UiPath product suite, which is test manager and also like test data generation. Like we have use case 9, which is related to building or test automation test cases for loan application. And the test case 10 is like generating a realistic test data within API calls. So these are the two use cases which we are going to look today. And let me close this. And this is our loan application creation. So we have defined the steps what we need to do, and we need to go to the UI bank. Let me open. So this is the UI bank application. Here we need to navigate to the products and then loans, and we need to click on apply for a loan. And now we need to enter all these details, and we need to submit the application. So without entering any details, it will not allow. So we need to enter some details here. And 20,000 I'm entering, and loan term is 3 years, and currently yearly income is 15,000, and the age is 7 years, and complete submission. So this you will not be approved for the loan because you need to have an 18 years. So we need to capture in this way, and so we will be having multiple scenarios in order to test this application, like the eligibility criteria and everything. And whenever we came across any scenario to be tested, any functionality to be tested, so we will be having acceptance criteria. So what is accepted based on, like, all the information is filled in, what acceptance we will be having, right? So based on that acceptance criteria, we will be defining our test cases. So here we are taking two test cases in order to build or test our application, but we can have more than this. So in case if your age is more than, the applicant age is more than 65, then it should reject, validate senior rejection, because the age criteria for this application is between 18 years to 65 years who can apply for the loan. So if it is more than 65, it needs to reject. So that is one scenario which we are going to test. And the other is approval. The loan will be approved for mid-age person who is applying for it. So in the similar way, we will be having uh, some scenarios of income group and terms, and like the period of how much time you are taking. So all these we will be having some different scenarios, but here it is a very simple scenario which we are looking at. Okay, so now we will create only these two scenarios in terms of this testing of this particular loan application request, and we will see how we can execute our test cases and see the results back. So we have clearly defined what steps needs to be done. So first we need to go to the welcome URL, which is the home page, and then we need to navigate to this form. So let me open my UiPath Studio, and I'll be creating a test automation project, and I'll keep the name as, the project name will be UI Bank Testing, Loan Approval Test, and create. So I already have a default test case. I'm just deleting this. And now we need to create our test cases. But before we go for the test cases, the common thing what we need to do is the navigation is common across different scenarios of our test cases also. So what we will do is we will build a workflow in order to navigate to the form and submit the form. And after that, we will create a test cases on top of it. So, and before that, like here for this project, for this UI automation, we will be using object repository. So first we will create all the objects for this particular application to be submitted, and all the controls what we are seeing. And under the object repository, here in the UI descriptors, so this works similar to the page object model. Whatever the application elements we have on top of the application, so every element we will consider as an object where we are interacting, the robot is interacting with the application. So I'll right click, and first we need to create an application. So I'll say UI bank application, and create an application. And here on right click, and I'll create screen. So I'll say home screen, and we will select the screen. So here is my screen. So screen is selected, and now I'll create screen. And under this, I need to select the elements. So I can capture the elements, I can create the element. So in case if it is a capturing of the element, automatically this will be highlighted. So we need to click on start recording, and here we need to select the element, and automatically it will be selected, and we can look for our selector, and in case if it is required we will fine tune, if not we will just keep it as it is. And this is our element which we captured. Click on save, and products is the element and it is getting highlighted. So I'm just click on close, save button, and it is got closed. And now if I see, I have the products element already available. So we can record the video or like directly capture with the help of recorder, or else if I want to create an element separately, here I can give the name loans, and here type of element we can select any of the existing. So the loan, whatever we have in the drop down, it's a label, it's not a button. So we will select the label, or else we can by default keep the element also. So we have a label. Yeah, here it is. Now I can say loans. The element name is loans, and now we need to click on this indicate, and it will be coming here. So we'll just pause for a while in order to get that element, and now we got it. So the resume, once it is got resumed, we can select this loans. So we selected the loans, and this looks to be okay for me, and we'll click on validate and confirm. So the two objects are got created in order to navigate to the loans page. Now we need to create one more screen. So the manually I'm just going, and here this is the loans page where we need to apply for the loans. So I'll be creating one more screen here. Create a screen, loans screen, and I'll indicate the screen, create screen. And now here I can go to the capture elements, click on this recording. So I need to click on select this application. Instead of that, what I want to do is click on capture all elements. So whatever all the elements we have, it will capture all the elements at one go. In case if we need to capture multiple elements in one time, right? So we just need to select this option so that it will identify all the elements, and whatever we think, we just need to click on that and those will be ignored. So this is how it will work. And we can just get all the elements at one go. So now only this particular button is selected. So now if I click on capture, whatever we selected, 1 of 10 is selected elements and 1 added element. And it is a valid. So apply for a loan is a button, and it is got added, and we will click on save. So if I go to my object repository, under the loan screen, this apply for a loan is already available. Now we need to go to the loan application form. This is the form and where we need to select all the elements. So we'll go to this and click on create screen, loan application form. Indicate on screen. We selected the screen and create screen. Under this, we need to capture the elements. Click on capture, capture all elements. 1 second, cancel. Click on capture all elements. Now it is identifying all the elements. Now we can deselect whatever is not required for us. I'm deselecting all this, and whatever we have, we will be selecting. I'm just unselecting these. So we have everything. All these are got selected. Now we will just click on capture, and all the elements are getting added to our. All the 6 elements are got added. Click on OK. So we can just select and see whether it is correctly identified for the same fields or not. Click on save. So I have my object repository created for this particular page as well. Now I need to go for the loan confirmation screen, or whatever approved or reject. So I'll just go for @.com. Loan amount requested 25,000. Loan term 5 years, and current year Currently yearly income 50,000. I'll say age is 24 and click on submit. So I got the word of congrats, your loan has been approved. If not, it will be rejected. So I will come here, I'll go to the object repository, I'll create one more screen. Create a screen, loan status, loan request status, and click on indicate screen and we'll select this screen. Create screen, and under this we'll create an object repository. Create an element, and I can directly simply go to the capture element and I'll select this. Capture. Oops. One second. I think there is something problem with my studio. Okay, I'll just simply go and click on create element, and I'll give the element name loan request status, and I'll be selecting the element of this loan is approved or not. So I can just simply select the entire screen and I can say check whether this text is exists or not. So I'll be selecting the entire whatever the form we have, and I'll just click on validate, confirm. So I got the loan request status details. So now my all the objects are got created. Now I need to build the flow. So I'll go to this workflow and I'll create a sequence and say that launch UI bank application create. So I'll use this use application browser and I'll be building only the launching of this UI bank. I will not be building entire in a single flow. So here launching, we will be going for the home screen. So I'll just select and drag and drop this. And instead of selecting the activities directly here, right? If we can just select that directly here, so we can go for it. I want to check the app status, whether this element is appeared or not. Because I'm just trying to launch only the UI bank home screen. I'm not navigating to the loan application form. So it will wait for the element appears. If it appears, it will go further, or else I'll simply throw an exception. I'll say new application exception, UI bank home screen failed to open. So this is my activity. And I want to rename this because as per best practices, right, it's always advised to rename the activities whatever we are using. When we are dragging and dropping the object repository, these names are getting automatically renamed. If you see here, it is not use application or browser. It is like saying that home screen. So here also I'll be saying that home page failed. And one more thing we need to consider when we are using this use application or browser, we need to go to the properties and we need to see this open and close. So I always keep if not open and this close is never till the last place. And this we can do that at the project settings also. If we go to the project settings, if we go to modern, here we can change these. Uh, if I go to web browsers, so we have some default settings we can have it here. Input methods, fuzzy selectors and all. So under this, we can change our what are the settings we have in terms of properties of this UI automation activities. What are the properties we have? Okay. So now my login is successful. I have built my login. Whether it will check whether the page is loaded or not. If not, it will throw an exception. And now I need to navigate to the loan application form. So I'll be creating a new sequence. Navigate to loan application form. Click on create. And this we will be using properties So objects, I'll be using home screen, and inside of that, I'll be using this product and loans click activities. So I'll be dragging and drop, and I'll be selecting simple. And for the loans also similar. I'll be just using this. So this is how it works. So here we are checking, right, whether the element exists or not. The check app state, right? Instead of that, what we can do is after the click activity itself, indicate verification target on screen. So we can either select it directly from, we need to select it directly from here. So for now, I'm not taking it up. So I can just, so we will be clicking on these apps, and after that, it will be navigated to the next page, which is loan application form. Sorry, which one? We need to go to the loan screen, because once this is done, it is going to the loan screen. So I'll go to the objects, and I'll go to open this loans, and under this I need to use this apply activity click. So once we have done that, we need to navigate to the next page, right? And we can just put a check app state as well here also, because we want to know that like whether the navigation is successful or not. As per best practices, whenever you are moving from one screen to the other screen, we need to make sure that the next screen is visible. So now we need to type in the loan application form details. So submit loan application form. Click on create. Under this, we'll go to this loan application form screen, and we will just drag and drop what are the different details we want to have. So email address, I'll use the type into activity, and we will just go with the same order what we have. Loan amount requested, type into, and we need to have loan term. Because it's a drop down, it's automatically going for that, so we can just click on select item. It is showcasing that like if you see the icon next to the object repository, it is showing that like it's a drop down. So, and the next is after loan terms, it is currently yearly income. Current yearly income. So we'll be just going with this, and we'll use the type into. And after that, we need to provide the age, and then we need to submit. Click on submit button. So whenever we are giving, in case if we are separately creating the objects like using the create element, we need to be make sure that we are giving a proper naming convention so that like it will work as expected. So this is how we will be submitting this loan application. Now we need to get the loan status, but before that we need to pass in the values for this. So for email address, I'll put in underscore email address, and loan amount requested in underscore loan amount requested, and we have loan term in underscore loan term, and we have currently yearly income in underscore current yearly income, in underscore age. So we have given all the 5 details what we require for it. Now we will just pass on these values to this in underscore email address, in underscore loan amount requested, in underscore loan term, in underscore current yearly income, in underscore age. So these are the different details we have, and we completed this form. Now we need to get the text out of it and to see. So we'll create more sequence, get loan status, loan request status. and we will use this screen, lo- loan request status screen, and we will use the loan request status element. And here we will be using get text. And this we need to have an out argument because we want to get the data from the application. So we are just creating out underscore get loan request status, and I'll just simply change it to out argument. So whatever the functionalities we require for this particular scenario to be tested, so we have created all these workflows in terms of UI automation. Still, we haven't yet tested it properly. So what I will do is I'll just simply close this application and I'll change all the properties of this to never. Properties, open never, close never. Here also it will be open never and close never. And here properties, never and never. Never. So most probably we will not use this get loan request status activity workflow in the test case. I'll tell you the reason why we will not be using this reusable, uh, but we will be using all the other. So now we will launch this workflow and we will see that. We will just create the run file. So it's got opened, and there is one more option which will help us to always maximize. So if you see here resize window, we'll just keep it to the maximize. So whenever it is executing, it will open it in the maximized mode. Now we will run the navigate to loan application form run file. So now it was navigated to the loan application form. Now we need to enter the details of some information. So I'll be going with loan amount requested is 25,000, and the loan term is 5 years, and the currently yearly income is 50,000, and the age I'll keep it as 25. And now let me run this flow also. So it's working as expected, this one also. And we will see what actually we are getting out of this. So I'll just put the out loan request and I'll write a log message here, and we will see that how it is working as a functionality. Info out loan request status. And I'll run this flow. Output. So I got this text. So we'll keep it for the next use. So now we need to create a test case on top of these workflows. So now what I will do is I'll click on create test case. And what is my test case name? My test case name for the first one is valid senior rejection. So I'll come here, I'll just put the name and click on create. So in the given, we can just have all these details which we will be passing as part of our automation. So I can create some arguments here in terms of workflow level, key test case level, which is email address, which is age, loan amount requested, and loan term, current annual income. So these are the different five fields which we will be passing in. So we'll be going with these values here. Ish, loan amount requested, loan term, and what is the other left for current annual income. So these are the different values we have. Now what we will do is we will invoke all of our test scenarios here in the when case. So I'll just use the launch UI bank and then navigate to loan application form and then to submit the loan application. Here we will be passing all these details. Email address, loan amount requested, loan term, current annual income. Yes. So these are the details which we are passing. So what I will do is we built all entire this workflow, right? So only few things will be changing for us for the next test case. So what I will do is, because for the same whatever we have the invoke flow and all these things, right? It is common across multiple scenarios, not only these two, right? Like when we are testing this in actual, so it will be multiple. So what we will do is we can simply go here and select this, right click, extract as a template. We'll say that loan application template. Click on create. So it's done. So I'm just renaming this to loan application template. And the same, I'll be just going to the properties and I'll be updating here. So it will be changed here also. So it's done. Now this template is got created. So this workflow I already have. So it's not to worry on this test case. I want to create a new test case, which is for my second scenario, approved mid-age loan. So I need to create for this. So I'll go here and I'll click on create test case. I'll give the name. Under the templates, under this based on templates, I'll be taking this loan application template. Previously, it is not there. Now, whatever we have created, it will go under the templates. Here it is. So from there, I created this test case. So all these details came. So what I just need to do is I just need to change my values input and I'll be just putting my assertions here. Assertions is nothing but like to validate whether our test is successful or not. And we are getting the information here, but we will not be using this. So I'll tell you the reason why we will not be using it when we are evaluating these test results. Okay. Now I will go here. I'll just copy this and paste it there. Okay. And I'll not be just considering this and I'll just keep only this text. So now I'll just copy this same and I'll put it here. So in the template itself, I can do this. So now what is my assertion here? So expected is I should have this message. So I'll just copy this and I'll verify activities. So there are verify expression, verify control attribute. So we have multiple verification activities, which are nothing but 4 activities, which will help us in terms of asserting whether our test case is successful or a failure. So I'll go with operator. So I'll say that like loan request status, and I'll say that like contains, and I'll give this text. This is for the approval, but here I don't want to have it. So I can simply say, okay, sorry, I'll just copy what is my assertion here. I should have not approved due to age. So I should get this message. So I'm copying it and I'm putting it here. Same expression I need to use in the mid level also, mid approved also, but my second expression will change because my request should contain this text. So now my two test cases are ready. So I'll tell you why we are not directly using this and why we are keeping in this way. So but before that I want to rename this verify valid senior rejection. And for this verify approved midash. Okay, and now what I will do is I'll simply run this flow and I will see how it is going to work. So I'm just closing this and I need to provide the values, right? So I'll take all the values what I have here, but in case of the actual testing with the variation of the data, what we can do is we can just take it from any of the data sources. It can be from an Excel, or it can be from queues, or it can be from the database. So it doesn't matter. So I'll just put it here. Sorry, I didn't copy it. Senior. So I'm just simply removing this. So I'll just put all these values here. 30,000. This is 66. Requested is 30,000. Loan term is 3 years. And the income is 30,000. So I have done all my assignments for the valid senior rejection. And here it will be loan amount requested is 30,000 and the income is 90,000. And we will just put all these values. So I'll just go with this particular email. And the age is 44. And the loan amount requested is 30,000. And the loan term is 5 years. And the current annual income is 90,000. So now we did all this. Oops. Now we will run this senior rejection and we will see whether it is working as expected or not. So let me run this file. So it maximized and it is navigated to the loan, apply loan. It is entering all the details. Submit. And we got the text. We need to see whether it is failing here or what. It should not be ideally. So the ID is changing, right? Maybe because of that selector or something, it will change. So let me go to my execution and let me come here. So this I need to change something in the object repository. I can simply go to my loan request status, edit descriptor, and from here it is loan result. This is correct. And this is not having any problem actually. This should not be a problem. I'll click on OK and I'll go to the request status and edit descriptor. I can edit my is not valid. That's where it's saying that like it is not valid. So I'll just go for the stick selector and I'll uncheck this fuzzy. And here I'll just go to the UI Explorer and I'll fine tune this selector wherever I'm saying that like it is getting failed. So I'll just go to the container content and I will remove this. I'll click on validate. So now this is not having any variables for me. If I highlight, it is getting highlighted. So I'm just closing this, click on save, validate. Irrespective of the loan, we are getting. So this fine tuning we have done. So we have done it in the object repository. We didn't modify anything in this activity, right? Or from directly from here. So we will not change anything. We'll just simply close this and we will run and see. So it is saying that it has got failed because the text is different, right? it is not expecting this error. So we will see how we can customize this text also. So in the properties, if you come here, we have an output message format. So in case if it is failure or successful, whatever based on the text, we can give it here. Like in case if this is true, like we can just put a condition that like if the we need to write a lot of code here, but I'm just we can even customize this format. If dot contains congrats, you can say that loan is approved. It's not supposed to. In case if it is false, loan is not approved due to issue, right? So we can just put it in this way, and in the contents, I'll just simply write this congrats, whatever the text we have. So we are just checking if it is congrats, it is okay. Uh, it should not be supposed to be. So we can customize what are the text we want to have, even the name also. But by default, it will take the existing name. In case if we give this name, it will change. And there are two properties here: take screenshot if failed, take screenshot if succeeded. So I'll just marking them to true. For that reason, I want this my validation to be inside of my this particular browser activity, and we will see the magic what actually it will help us. So here I'll say that close to always, because my execution is done. So here also I'll select this properties, I'll just simply use always, and I'll come here, I'm changing my properties here to true. So now we already executed this, now we will execute this. Like in simpler way, what I will do is I'll just put whatever the text I am getting it there. Even that I can do, right? In terms of alternative message, instead of having all this description, right? I just want to have a message what is exists over there. So here also I'll just put the output message as this, and I'll keep these two true. And now what I will do is I'll test this approve midday loan run file. If you see in this code also, I didn't modify anything, any selector or something in the congrats screen or like final screen, but it worked. Congrats, you have been approved with the rate. So there might be some text is different. Have been approved with the loan of UI Bank. The same text we have. Contains this, and here it is. Oh, simply go here. We'll see what actually the difference is. It should be coming in the green color, but it will be received in a red color, which means it has got failed. Same text we have exactly. Some space issue or something. Yes. So I'll just put it this save. Even this is also a failure scenario for me, but I'm just making it to successful, trying to make it to successful. Run the file. In case if it is successful, we will get a green color. If I go to my output panel, so I can see the green color. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll quickly I'll go in a bit more speeder way, uh, because we are running out of the time, but you will be getting the recordings. So we need to go to our admin, and we will go to the tenant under the services. In case if the test manager is not available here, there will be an option here to add services. Once you click on that, you can enable the test manager. Once the test manager is available for you, you can go to the test manager, and here we will be creating a project. Create a new project, use case series, and us20 create. So my project is got created. So I'll just take this test manager URL. I'll come to my studio. Under this, I have a test manager settings. So here I'll be just putting my test manager in and click on connect. Test manager is got connected, and I'll select the project. So use case series, click on OK. This is got connected to my test manager. And I'll go to my test cases here, this and this. So I'll just to segregate it properly, I'll create a new folder, UI bank functionalities, and I will move all the other to this UI bank functionalities. Even submit loan, okay, and I'll save it. I'll save it. If I come here, it is automatically got renamed. So not to worry, even if we are moving the files to some different folders. So now we need to right click on this and link to test manager. So the project is by default we already have. We can change it also, and I'll just click on create a new test case directly. And I'll go here, I'll right click and click on link to test manager, and I'll just click on OK. So these two test cases will be automatically created in my UI path test manager. If I go to my test cases, whatever we just created, so here are my test cases. Now what I will do is I'll change this. I'll run this separately. Cancel. Not separately. I'll just go and run all these at one go. Under the test explorer, I can just drop down on this, run in all. So both the test cases will be get executed. So it's opening, going to the norms, apply for loan. Now it is entering the mid-days which was supposed to be approved. Submit loan application. Close this and reopen. Navigate to loans. Is submit loan application. Close this. And now we got these test results, right? So what I will do is I'll right click, upload test results to the test manager. In case if I'm doing from the test scenario studio, I'll be going here into the properties. There is test explorer. And for this also right click, upload results to the test manager. So I'll be uploading my test results of both the test cases from studio to the test manager. If I come to my test manager, if I refresh this and go to my executions, I can see these are my test cases which got executed from studio. And I can go here. If I just click on this, I can see the screenshot. What actually came, because in testing, evidence is much more important when we are testing the steps. So you can add multiple assertions also to have a step-by-step uh, evidences of screenshots and everything. So this is how the test executions will happen, and we can see the test results. Now we have done this for Chrome. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll just click here. I'll use only one set type runtime browser, and I'll change the browser to Edge. And here also I'll change the browser to Edge. We'll use the set runtime browser, and I'll change it to Edge. Now let me run this. In the test explorer, I'll go and click on run all. Now it is opening on Edge. Hopefully it will fail now. it is going to fail for sure. So I'm stopping it not to waste the time. So I need this set runtime browser. I'll go to this launch. Here I'll use the set runtime browser to edge. Yeah, I'll go to the other functionalities as well. So this is not required. Now I'll go to my, the launch is done, and I'll navigate to the loan. I'll be putting this activity here. I'll go to submit loan application. I'll put this activity here. And here also I'll put this activity. Here also I'll put this activity. And I'll just run only the approved mid-days loan, one test case only. Got opened. It is navigating to the loans, apply for loan. It will be entering. So with only one activity, set runtime browser, we could able to change our browser from Chrome to Edge. So this is going to help us in terms of cross-browser testing, because for any web application, cross-browser testing is very much important. So this will help us in terms of cross-browser testing. So I should be getting it. Yeah. So I can go here into my test explorer, and from here I can right click and upload to the test manager. And when we are running this from the test manager or orchestrator, the results will be automatically reflected. It's not necessary as to publish every time. So this is which is got finished. And if I go to my test results, and if I just expand this, see this is Chrome. So this is how we can achieve the testing of application testing with the help of UiPath Test Suite, and we can record our test execution results. And it is so easy compared to any other testing platforms in terms of cross-browser testing. So this is all about our first test case. And let me close this. Do I have any questions? So in case if any selector is got failed in while executing the test case, obviously that is going to be failure of your test automation flow. We cannot consider it as a see, it depends. In case if our application target application selector is got changed, which was not supposed to be, in case if for some reason or any changes in the application, your test case itself is got failed, because this is not automation we are doing. We are just trying to test whether the application is behaving as expected or not, and in between any changes to any controls are not supposed to be, then it should be a failure for us. Okay. Mobile devices, there is a separate mobile automation testing as part of our test um, uh, suite product, where we will be connecting to APN, and from there we will be doing it. Um, this is not cross platform. This is all about cross browser. And in terms of cross platform, like we will be getting it. Like we'll be getting in going further. So if I go to UiPath Studio, while I'm creating test automation, so we have a cross platform. We can select it and we can deploy it over there. But to have more and more facilities, like we will be getting the Studio Web also, where the test manager is going to be integrated going further in future. So there we will be getting it. Okay. Anyhow, like we will be taking the questions going further in the after the second use case. And the second use case, what we are going to do is we are want to create some test data. See, the major challenge what we are going to face is the need to have a test data in a realistic way, right? So in terms of any application logging testing, if you want to perform, so we need to have some data like onboarding or kind of thing. So if I want to onboard someone, right, like we need to work on some realistic data. Even for our scenario also, we need to have a realistic data in order to test the applications. So I want to generate an user data with the help of random user API, which is already available. So where we will be exploring of JSON fields and API interactions in the automation. Also, we will be creating some test data into Excel file. So I want to have name, gender, address, date of birth, email in this formats. Okay. So now I'll be using this random user API, which is the URL is here. So I'll be copying this and I'm pasting in my browser. So if I paste in my browser, so I'll be getting this JSON format. So if I just click on the pretty print, so we will be having a clear structure of the JSON file. And what we will do is we'll make an API call to this API and we will get this into a string variable. And from there, we will convert it to the JSON format and we will take the names of first name, last name, gender, and we'll take the city, state, country, postcode, and also we will take the street number and street name. So we'll take all these details and we will format it. Okay. And additionally, if you want, you can take this email also, it will follow the same. And we can have a username, password, even to log into sign up for an application, we can use this. Okay. So I'll just create one new project, which is a sequential. I'll be generating it because I want to generate a data. Generate. So let me copy this use case name as it is, automating user profile generation with random user API. Create. So I have an, if I refresh, right here we have Perla. If I refresh, the name will be changed. Every time when we refresh, the name will be keep on changing. So here now it is Jerome. And even the locations also changing. Australia, and still we have these activities available in UiPath, but we need to select the country and all. But this is a random country wise we are getting. So for that we will be leveraging this API, and now we need to make an API call. For making an API call, what we need to have is you need to have UiPath.web.activities. UiPath spelling is wrong. So I'll be installing these packages. So now I'll be having HTTP request from where we will be making the API calls. And if I go to my website and I'll get this URL and I'll just click on configure and I'll be putting this endpoint and see here. Now we will just click on preview. In case if there is any authentication method, we will be changing this authentication method to specific authentication method in order to get that interacted with the API. But here it doesn't require any authentication, so we are directly calling it out and the request method is get. And whenever you are working with any other API endpoints, right, you will be having a clear-cut documentation of API endpoints, whatever we are making the call, what type of request it is it a get, post, or delete, or patch, or whatever it is, and what is the response it will accept, and what is the authentication type we need to make. So we will be having a very clear picture of what actually the documentation for that particular any APIs. So we can just need to go through that and we need to configure these fields. Click on preview. See here, I got in some Arabic name. I'll refresh this. I got this. So we will be getting a random from a different locations. So now we will click on OK. So this is done, and we need to give the output. What is my response content? So I'll say that random user string, because it will always give me the string format, and I'll just use log message to see how I'm getting it. Info random user string. So if I click on this run, so I got the output. So this is how I'm getting it. And now I need to deserialize. I need to convert this string to a JSON format. For that, we will be using deserialize JSON activity. Deserialize JSON activity. And here we will be giving that random user whatever string. And in the output, we will be creating a JSON object. Object random user. And now we need to fetch the details. If I see, we will get to know by examining the response of the sample JSON format. If you see here, we have a square brackets opened and closed, which means it's a kind of an array. So we can have multiple details under this, but this is resulting only one. So if you see here, it is saying that only one result. There might be a possibility that tomorrow it might got changed and it can give you 10, right? So there might be a possibility. So it should not fail when we are creating it. So what we will do is, whatever the results we have, it's an array, right? So I'll copy this results, and once we are deserializing this, I'm just closing this in between. Yeah. So once we deserialized, we will be getting in the JSON object, which is a key value pair kind of a thing, similar to that only. But now I need to loop through each of these, right? So I'll use a for each activity. And inside of that, I'll use the JSON object, and in the parenthesis, I'll use that results, which means what it will do is it will iterate through me whatever is there inside of my square boxes. In case if there is a comma and we have some more data, then that will be considered as second user. That's how this will treat, and it will iterate through this. If I go here and if I try to print this current J token, so I can simply say that single user. I'm just renaming it. So we'll use the log message, and I'll print and show you that like whatever is there in the brackets, we will get that text. So let me run this flow. Output. See here. Now I got from this place to this closure, nat rs. Here it's Australia, but it came till this place. Now I want to access each of these fields. So what I want to get, I want to get gender. So I'll directly use this only. So I'll go here. Here under the single user, I'll just put this gender. So I'll get the gender what actually it is. See, the text is not same. It is every time it is changing. For that reason, we will get a different data. But we just need to see that like whether the data is syncing with our information or not. In case if we want to see, we can just print it here in the log message what data we are getting, and we can see that like whether it is properly getting out. Are we properly getting it as expected or not? So I'll use this and I'll print it by converting it to the string. Run this file. Output. See here, it is a male. If I come here, it is male. So in this way, we will be taking all these details. So what details I want to have? I need to have a name, gender. So we already taken for the gender. So I'll just put an assign activity. I can say multiple assign also I can keep, or assign separately also. I prefer to go with only single assign because we are not adding hard-coded values, right? But when we are deserializing, there might be a possibility of getting errors. In case if one value is getting error out, then it will be a big problem for us. So I'll use the gender. So I'll just rename this to this. I'll keep this. If you see, we are getting error because we need to convert this to the string, dot to string. Now the gender will be assigned. Now we need to have a name. Name is nothing but first name space last name we need to give. How we need to give? What is my document? Yeah, first name and then space we will give the last name for the name. So we'll come here and I'm creating a variable of name. But before that, I'll use with first name, last name. So let me combine both in a single assign activity. So I'll take an assign activity. I'll use the name variable. So it's done. Now value to save. How is my structure of the JSON? I need to think. So I need to have first name and last name, right? It is under the name. Again, So what I need to do is I need to provide single user name, and again I need to have one more parenthesis which will give me the first name. If I just take this, again I need to go, I will give a space in between, and now I need a last name. So copy paste, and I need to do the last, which is this. So which means if you have an hierarchy here, then you need to mention in the order, the same order of what we have, right? But here I need to use a dot to string method in order to convert that to the string. Click on save. So my name, I received my name. So we need to do the similar way for all these details like address and all. So first we will take the date of birth. Do we have age or date of birth? So we have a date of birth and the age also. So we will take age, sorry, date of birth, because the date of birth is much more important than the age. Okay. So if I go to the date of birth, right? If you see here, location, it is closing. So we need to see where the parentheses are perfectly getting closed. So I can directly call on DOB and then date. I'll go here. But here we are expecting age. So it is mentioned age. So here we go for it and we just say age. Assign. In case if you want date of birth, we can take it. Because it's only age, so we are just considering age. And now what I need is I need to go for DOB and then age. So I'll just copy this DOB and I'll simply come here, single user, hit this DOB, and then inside of that age dot tools. So we just need to go and follow hierarchy of how it is after doing the deserialization. So I'll just, we got the age, and what else we need to have? We need to have email. There is my email. Here is my email. Email is not having any hierarchy of contact or something. So we'll directly use the email. Assign activity. Single user and parenthesis age dot post. And we will create email. Email. In case if it is getting any error of like key is not available or not, we will have a clear segregation. If we use in multiple assign, right, we will not get to know exactly which is missing, and also we will face the issues there. So now we need to address. If you see, address is looks to be a bit more clumsy here. Like first we need to go to the location. We need to get the street number and name. So there are three hierarchies here. After that, city and everything is part of your location, right? So first I need to get the street number. Just focus on this. First I'll take this and then I'll keep this street and then I'll keep the number for the number. Again, I'll take the location, I'll take the street, I'll give the number. So that's how hierarchy will work. So I'll go here, assign activity, street address. And for this, I'll build my flow, single user, and I'll have this, sorry, I need to have a location. I'll have the street. I'll have the number, which will be my street number. And then I need to have a name, right? But for this, I need to keep a comma separated and then I'll be keeping it. First, I'll copy this entire because the hierarchy is same. So I'll just copy the name and I'll put it in place of number. As I said, like we need to convert this to a string before and click on save. So now my street address is coming. Now again, I need to get my city and all the other details also. So simply location and then city I need to give. Location and state I need to give, right? So I'll just take city, state, country, postal code. Assign activity. I'll copy the location and then city. Single user. And then I need a city. Dot post. This is going to be my city. I'm just copy pasting so that I can just reduce some work. So this is my city, right? I'll be just putting it as city. I'll go for the state next. Instead of city, I'll just put my state. And this is going to be my state. Country. Country. State country is done. Now I'll go for the postcode. So I got all the details. Now I want to put these details into an Excel. Okay. But before that, what I want to do is I want to ask the user how many requirements they want to have. Input dialog box. Enter number of records. Provide number of user profiles, or else I'll keep the title as the same how we have in this user profile generator. I'll use the same name, and label will be enter number of profiles to be generated. Input type text box and value entered is number of profiles count. Properties. Okay, so now it is done. Now what I will do is I'll use a for each, while. I'll take a counter in the integer and it will be starting from 1. And I'll say that counter is less than or equal to convert dot to integer 32 and profile count. So in case if it is less than or equal to, so we will be generating these many. So I'll be just putting in the loop. I'm removing this log messages. You can add the log message at some specific points to have a traceability. But now I need to put all this into a data table, right? So for that, I'll be using a build data table activity. And here in the properties, I'll say dt underscore user data. Go here and I need to give the columns. Name, gender, age, email, street address, city, state, country, postal code. So these are the order of columns we have, and we just need to make sure that like we remember the name order. We need to put the same order also when we are giving the details. So I'm saving this, and I'll come here to the bottom. Here we will be using add data row activity, and the data table is whatever is got created. Now we will provide the array, and inside of this array, name, gender, age, email, street, city, state, country, postal code. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total 9. And we'll see how many columns we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So matching. So order is also matching properly. So what it will do is for each of the generated record, and for each of the results what we have inside of it, it will add all the information into this data table. Now I want to write this information to an Excel. So I'll use write range workbook, and I'll give the file path. So I'll just want to save in the project folder now, user data dot xlsx, and the sheet name will be user data, and the data table I'll be just putting it. So every time when we are running, it will generate a new file and it will place that data. And in case if I want to have a data appended to it, so we can do that as well. If already file exists, then we will use the append. If not, we will use the write. So that is the only difference we have. But I'll just keep it till creating a new data. So now I will run this file. So I'm saying that generate me two records. So I'm not getting the trace of what actually happening behind the screens till the time I get either an error or the process is completed. I'm very clueless and blank here, right? In case if we have a log messages placed, we will be having that like what actually it is trying to generate. So it's executing in the background. I'll open the project folder. Oops. I think it is getting into an infinite loop because we are not incrementing the counter. So for that reason, it is going in an infinite loop. Whenever we are having a counter based loops, then there is a problem. So we need to use an assign activity and we will increment the count. Going to counter plus one. So that is the mistake which we have done. And we will just keep a log of which record it is started, so that like we will have at least some trace of like what actually happening. Now we didn't could not able to understand why actually it went wrong, right? Generating data for record number counter dot post. We can have information fetched. So click on save. Now I will run this flow. So at least I have some traceability of at least for which record it is going. So I'll use three. So it is going for three and execution is completed. So if I go to my folder, project folder, so my user data file is got created. So let me open this. See here. So I have the name, gender, age, email, street address, city, country, sorry, city, state, country, and postal address. So headers are not there because I just need to check this under the properties. I just need to enable this add headers. So that's the only pending header. So once we have that, so we will have that. Sorry, add headers. Now I will run this flow. So now I'll be going for 10 records because it's working as expected and faster as well. So if I go to my output panel, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Execution is complete. So if I go to my file, refresh this, see I have this data. Some information is in Arabic language, which is from the Iran country. So yeah, so these are the different details we receive, irrespective of the language also, because the keys are same in terms of our JSON file. So this is how we can generate the data. So I think we completed with both of the use cases for today, and now we are open for the questions. If anyone have any questions, so how about the cross-platform and Safari? Okay. That's the last message. So Kiran, you there? So I'm giving permissions to everyone. So if anyone have any questions, they can unmute and ask me. So, guys, now you can unmute and you can ask me if you have any questions to discuss further.
There is one question in the chat window.
Yeah. Actions were quick, so if we could get recording, then it will be much helpful. Sure. As soon as, like, I'm working on it, like, it's a delay from my side, so I'm talking to the people and I'll try to get the recording as soon as possible. What is the
I
purpose
think if
of?
possible, just stop the recording if possible. I
Yeah,
think.
sure.